Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of the Foolsopolis here in City Skylines. Well, last episode, guys, we did some more works with the rural areas around Foolsopolis. It feels really weird to say that. I kind of started building suburbs, basically. I also started implementing different levels of elevation with the terrain as well, which is kind of weird considering the whole of the Foolsopolis is currently quite flat. Today, I want to make some big progress. I want to do basically any empty gaps I currently have right now within the city centre. I want to start building the road layouts and starting to zone them. Because we need to start ramping things up. I also want to kind of play around a little bit more of the terrain as well and get some more plans in progress. Guys, if you are enjoying this series so far, I want to say more, then make sure you smash that like button down below. If you're new around here, then make sure you do subscribe so you are notified when that next episode does come out. But we're back, boys. We are back. And we implemented the train. It's nice. It's beautiful. It gets things rocking and rolling. And it's not much, but you can kind of see the detail already with a couple of the hills. We're going to expand a little bit more of that. Now, before we get any further, guys, before we continue, before we get things rocking and rolling, I basically, because we did more road layouts, we kind of sorted this out. You know, the little gaps here, kind of over here, and like there and there and all that kind of stuff. I want to get them filled up. I want to get them filled up, zoned up, so we can slowly start working to the outer sides and hopefully at some point implement a brand new industry. It's been a long time since we've got one of those in, boys. So that's what we're going to start working with first. And then I want to kind of create some, like, I want to say mountains, but you never know. You never know how far your boy could take it. So we need to take a look then. I think what we're going to do is we're going to start over here. Now, we have quite a few open gaps right now. I want to leave spaces in case we potentially want to implement some type of a roundabout here. I don't know. But basically, it's all about creating those grids. Now, this is the only areas inside of the inner city section where we are going to have these grids. What's that? It's 21, so 10. That should be an 11. Yeah. This is the only place where we're going to have these grids. Everywhere else is going to be completely different. Now, if I do stick around about here, I've got the ability to do the underpasses, so that's completely fine. I ain't got to worry too much about them right now. Do I create the square there? Do I keep the square here? I didn't really do it there because I wasn't going fully all the way down. How did I do that? So my square's here. Ah, because it's progressing this way down instead. Aha! I got you. So if I went like that, bam, bam, bam. Deleted you. Delete. No, not delete you. We'll do it this way. Hold on. Oh, what's going on here? There we go, boy. Right, we'll take it this way instead. Now that will go all the way down. This will come to here where we'll create this. And then we still got our straight drags of road. I can actually kill off this one. And kind of just keep it as flowy as we can possibly get it. There's no point messing about, really. We'll connect to there. Now, because we're coming up to an end here, is there a section where I can kind of just quickly connect in? Or, in what? How has that happened? Right, delete all that. How have I come off here? I don't even know. Right, straight under. What's the, yeah, the heights are perfection. Straight across. We'll bring this down to here. Bam, bam. And directly through here, just like that. So we've kept flows, we've kept it moving, we've kept it rocking, we've kept it rolling. Everything is happening magically. I feel like I don't need this. If I killed that off and just kind of reduced the amount of junctions on this road, I know there's quite a few here, but keeping this free flowing, nice. Because there is quite a bit of traffic and I don't want to kind of cause too much of a backlog around this area. So here we'll just kind of keep it nice and simple. Boom, ba boom, boom, boom. Great stuff. So here then, we'll keep that all trees. I think that's quite nice to be kept all as trees. I could create some more passes here for the road if I kind of made it all go all the way up. Now, I know I've got too many connections going on, but at the end of the day, this is a very, very low traffic area. So just by implementing more passovers, it really opens up the grid and kind of basically makes it feel like an inner city kind of vibe and whatnot. That's pretty good. So we'll just kind of then utilize this little section. And if I came in just to there, just so I can pretty much work with this. So a 29, take away 11 will be an 18. just so I get that slight little section. And if I came off here, and we're just going to make it a little bit jazzy. So where does it go? So 9. Is that a 9 by 9? 9 by 9. Straight in. I know it's a bit funky, but I like a little bit of funk, boys. I like a little bit of funk right now. So that's pretty good then. So I don't really have much demand, if any demand, to throw it out there. So I'm going to drop it down right now, and trust me, this will take forever and a day for it all to implement. It really will. I'm going to push the boat out, and I'm going to drop all this commercial down too. It's probably not the best of ideas. I can already start to see where you kind of need an underpass and stuff like that around these areas to get them off this junction. But I know I've recently added in a lot of zoning. So I know there's going to be very, very heavy traffic demands in general at the moment. So we'll just kind of keep it to as it is. So bringing that down to there, we've got a nice big commercial section just there. And because this is the inlet section here, we'll add all this in. I'll add a bit of commercial just to there and just to there. I know it's going to be very, very, very bad traffic, but trust me. Once the traffic starts appearing, then we'll play around with the demands and the routes and like kind of good stuff. So I'm going to quickly pause as I do the rest of this with a paintbrushing tool right now. We are going to have to think about implementing some walkways through this area because there's a couple of sections right now where they don't really... Hold on, let me kind of get this correct. I'm going to bring it to there on that one. I don't know how that's going to play out, if that's a little bit too much or whatnot. Bring it to there. So yeah, we're going to have to play around with some of the stuff, but I'll get it all set up in just a second. So crazy with the residential. I want quite a bit of it because this is the inner city vibes, boys. It's the inner city vibes. And we will go all commercial down here because it's around this little kind of metro stop. We can get away with it. Now, if I just cancel all that, all this commercial, it's a lot. And I know what you're thinking, yo, Seniac, you're going way over the top right now, but it's the city. That's my excuse right now. Anyone says anything, guys? It's the city, okay? It's the city right now. So let me just do a couple of quick little walkways. We'll put it back into play mode. So a couple of quick little walkways right now. We'll definitely do one there. And can I snap it in? Oh, no. Yeah, there we go. Boom. And we'll do one just here. We'll then do one on this little junction just there directly up. I'll utilize like this little space in here. So if I did one going all the way up like this, I can kind of utilize the dead space that we have under the highway. I might go slightly diagonal. Nice. It almost semi-bends with it in a weird way, but it doesn't. And then with the roads, with our little crossings, we'll add one there. I'm not going to do one there because of what we've got going down there. They're pretty much okay. I'll add one just there in case I want to get to the other side of the road. I'll add one just here and then just quickly go through all of this. There we go. So this makes it as walkable as we can possibly get it. So that area is nicely zoned. There's quite a lot going on, residential and commercial. And we'll quickly plant down now some of the trees. So looking at the areas, you kind of want it in the area. So there's 4 spots there, 5, and then just kind of around there where we would just potentially want to drop in a couple of trees. There we go. A little bit over there. More down here. And I think you would leave it as that for now, wouldn't you? I don't think you would try and progress or touch it any further. Oh, I'm missing just a little bit of a patch there. There we go. Sweet. So like I said, it will take forever and a day to get all that zoning in. But that fills that nice little gap anyway. Fills that nice little gap. We can then move on to the next. So I want to work with all this. Now, it's a bit of an awkward one now because it's like... These vibes, as it gets more kind of foresty, if that's the best way to put it, I feel like in a really, really weird way, it should be low density residential. But I don't think it'll fit the vibe very well. Now, I know we've got the kind of train yard just here. So this area is actually quite perfect for industrial. So what I'll do is I'll implement all the dirty industrial side of it. And then what's pretty much left will be offices. Pushing all the way down here. And I'm going to drop all in offices here, but I think it would be really, really cool as well to then fill the middle with trees to give us those beautiful vibes. I'm all about the vibes, boy. All about the vibes right now. So trees all in there. And that kind of finishes all that off there. So lots of residential, lots of commercial, lots of industrial being thrown down. And like I said, it's probably going to be like 5 episodes until like all this zoning's been built. But the city's going to go on a mad one right now. So I will throw this out there. Expect to see a lot of traffic. Just because the amount of residential I'm now squeezing in, it's going to take forever to kind of get it all in, like I said. So we'll see traffic for ages. So what I've got to remind myself is, don't panic, Seniac. There's a lot of traffic moving in. Don't stress out, okay, mate? Don't stress out. But that's easier said than done, right? It's easier said than done. So if I go to here, I'm trying to work out the best situation right now to get all this connected. Because as much as you want to create it and all on these drags, it's sometimes not the best option. Like I could do it like this and then go across with the 3 like that. And all I've really done compared to this one is reduce 1 stop there. Do I just do it a little bit different in every single one? Just switch up the routes? I suppose I could. So this one you penalise going this way. But then if I went that way, you penalise going in any way you want to go, really, aren't you? It is what it is, boys. It is what it is. That one's completely off. What is the space of that? That's a 30. Oh, if I just anarchied straight through it. Right, bam. I think it's because this is off. So then that there is all good. Nice. So we'll bring that to there. We'll try and keep the run of road for the crematoriums a little bit free. And I think that's as far as we'll take it. I'm not liking what I've done here. I'll keep that as it is because it kind of, what it allows us to do is have the run of the crematorium road as free as possible. It's probably the best thing I could do about this area right now. So we'll quickly tree down the sections where we can't get any zoning. Now, I know a lot of the public transport doesn't run very well through these areas. Do not stress. Once the areas are all built up, I do want to spend an episode where I review all of my public transport. So while they might not be the best of options at the moment, we can definitely look at them in the future. So bringing this all the way down to here, covering all of this. So this is just a generic commercial to begin with. I'm going to have a nice little commercial section just here. And then you know how the story goes, boys. All residential in the middle. I was going to go down the road and go, yo, wabam. Low density. But I don't think it will work. Right. Down to here. I'm going to paint the rest of this. Just imagine when all this is zoned up. Just imagine how crazy it's going to be. Damn. So over here, now I don't want to throw down too much traffic capacity. So I think this area would be perfect for offices. That's what I reckon. So that's what I'm going to do. So I could bring this. Should I do like a nice little bend? These roads won't be that busy anyway, so it's kind of handy to have it as offices. And then at some point when we're ready, I can then designate it to be like like the Industry 4.0 or the space planning or something like that. We can take it that far. But what's great is we have the station nearby. So the train station. So all the office workers, it'll be so easy for them to commute and get to work. So that's kind of really handy for these guys. That's a heavy area, isn't it? I'm going to have the same problems and issues with this now as well. So if I designated all this offices. But I don't think I can make all this offices, to be honest with you. It's a very heavy industrialized area. I could just kind of keep the trees. It's a tough one. I think I might have to come back to this area once I see stuff all built up. I mean, buildings are slowly being built in all these zonable areas. But with all that demand drop, or all that zoning drop down, we ain't going to see any demands for quite some time. So what I do what it's got to do just for now. I want to play around with some terrains. So can I bring it to topography? Where is it? Just here. Not too much going on over here right now. Just small little mounds and bumps and groans and whatever you want to call it. We'll go a little bit higher around this little section. But I definitely want to work around here and over here at higher levels. So what is the terrain height that we're working with up here? 112. So if I go and straight place in a 200, what is my brush size at that point? Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. So if I go quite big and just create this triangle section. So we're committing to the triangle just there. I'm going to bulk that section out and then bring it down. We are going to smoothen a lot of this off, and I think a lot of it is going to have to take place in pause mode. So we'll come down in levels as well. And stagger it slightly. I definitely got to drop a lot lower around here. Because I got to try and set it up to a point where it looks semi-natural. As difficult as that is to do, it's kind of what we got to set up. So even in pause mode, this does not feel great. But I think it's the amount of dirt we are trying to move. Should I just go complete utter domination size? So what I'll do then as well is I'll play around with the jagged brushes that I've got to create and bring the brush strength right down. But it creates these little mounds that add a little bit of texture to some of the areas that we can ultimately work with. And obviously I've got to make all the top of here bumpy. I can't have it be a complete plateau. So we've got the structure to a certain degree. Now it's all about smoothing all of this. So it's not as flat. And you get a little bit of structure to the course. And we've got to bring this as far down as we can to really merge it with the flat lands that we have. You know, it's worked really well down here. We keep it going. So just by having a quick glimpse right now, it doesn't look like much. But it kind of starts to kind of bring us into these areas. Like, you've got small little mounds there. We've got a little bit of bits and bobs going on right here, right now, which it's slightly dipped down. So like these little areas that we get to work with at this point now. So going back to this, going to like the little sketchy brush size. It's a case of, do it like this. Create a little bit of a mound here. And then in terms of brush size, we stretch it out down that way. try and dent that in a bit. It's not much. It's not to kind of make it too visible. And we'll try again a little bit more over this side. And we'll do both in between. It's not to make it visible at all. It's just literally to create a little bit of definition. So the roads, when you start building, you can see the height changes. And it shouldn't have caused any issues now. So it doesn't really look like much. But in the grand scheme of things, when you start building and you get the roads start elevating and changing, you really start to see it in the building side of things too. So the hills are slowly coming alive. Over here, we start to bring it up into some kind of a mountain. Let's kind of play around with that idea. Now, you've got sloped terrain. I could create a ditch. Don't really want to. But I think we've got to bring this dramatically up. So if I just kind of roughly played about with it. Go big in that brush size. So you can kind of see this is the kind of we'll have little plateaued areas, but how I build the mountainous range going down here a little bit as well, and kind of over to here. I might no, I won't turn that into like a waterfall because I need the ships. But this is where we'll build like our ore industry when we eventually have the ability to get it all set up. This is where we'll eventually build our beautiful little ore industry. So I kind of like, you know, you play around with the waterfront too. So then the water kind of plays into it. I know it's going to cause a bit of flooding. And like, you know, we do it all over here as well. Paste it all out. Kind of work with it. Now if I just mess about with the terrain underneath, I'll come back and smoothen it all off. But smoothing it all off so that goes back underwater. There we go. Get some different heights in the water. You don't really see it that much, but it kind of all helps. So I'm going to very lightly smoothen the edges of this and then go quite big in here. And you notice that kind of created now inside. Like, I wouldn't say it's like a valley, but we have where it kind of slightly plateaus in the middle, protected by the the hills either side. Imagine we start to build our little industries around this. It look really good, wouldn't it? We kind of keep the momentum going. Smoothing all this up around here too. This is going to take a lot of smoothing in. I mean, I would like to keep some textures in. But like, to kind of get it where it kind of funnels down to the flatlands a little bit easier. Not bad, not bad. Right, I'll put it into play mode. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And it'd be nice at some point as well, like, have a little stream going down into these little areas. I feel like we could create like a little bit of a water source and it streams down underneath all this. But I might have to redo some of the highways depending on how we kind of want to progress with a lot of the lands. So keeping this momentum going anyway, like if I worked with this side, so I can play around and dig it underneath it. And then, these will be like where the flatlands kind of start to come into play. And I can maybe go a little bit higher just here. A little bit higher just there. But then thin out the flatter lands around it. That's how we can kind of play around with all this design. Ooh, let me undo that. That was not the right button. So again, it's about pushing it all over, smoothing in all this out. How does it look down here anyway? Definitely got a lot of smoothing out to do. Yeah, it's easier to pause as well. So definitely a lot of smoothing out to do because we got to try and merge them. Try and create like almost like a bumpy, almost make the flatlands very, very bumpy as well. But this is my first kind of step into doing it. So it'll be interesting to see what we can kind of create and get out of this. Oh, I thought we were paused. Alright, try and smoothen this. So, I mean, at this point, isn't that highway meant to be kind of slightly elevated? But if I increase that brush size slightly. And then just kind of tear through there. But with that, we can play around with the smoothing them. So it's almost like we've kind of built the highway within the inner valley of this area. Then rolling hills, we can now start to feel them. They're all coming through. They're all coming through these little hills right now. So that's how the flatlands start to slowly elevate up. And like over on this side too, even though we got like a couple of mountains right now, I'll try and create like a little mountain range, like a fault line or something like that. I think that would be really, really nice for this area. I think that would. And then we can create like little kind of miniature cliff edges as well. I mean, they try to look good. I will smooth them a bit more. We get a little kind of sharp cliff edges will look really, really nice. So I've kind of messed up my water anyway. I've also got to be really careful with the plane situation. I might have to kind of redo all these because when I built the plane lines to the edge of the map, they're all based on the heights for the terrain on that certain level. If I start building mountain ranges around it, it kind of slightly messes it all up. But it's still good though. It is still pretty good. So even though we've got small little bumps here and there, we're adding a little bit of definition, a little bit of textures, and starting to feel something within the area. Right, I can get rid of these key walls as well. And I think over this side too would be quite. I feel like having like a some type of a hill within the center that kind of overlooked us would be quite nice. But the problem is, right, I'm building it to the square, isn't it? That's the kind of the issue that I've kind of got. I'm building it to this, where I've got to be a bit careful about that. But it's kind of fun still to do it. So if I just go and mess around with this. Because you can start to make it look quite out of place. So if I left it like that, it's all flat and you've got this random piece just here. Which is why you got to spend the time smoothing it all off. Really getting down to the top bits. Pulling it out as much as you possibly can. Because the more you pull it out, the more you can drop it down. But it does help then feathering it about a bit more as well. Right, we get down to here and we can feather. Just taking the edges off that a bit there. And then start to elevate the feather. And then you're smoothing it as much as you can there. And that sprawl starts to come back into it. And I do want to try and take as much off the top as this as possible. The more we take off, the better. Alright, it's taking a lot down there. Smoothing all of this. And I think the biggest downside to it all is because I built the train lines and whatnot around it first. You kind of lose the ability to run a mountainous side through it. There we go. We're really taking it down right now. And it's not much. But when you start building on this, and it slightly comes a little bit higher, cast those shadows, the roads change, you might have to bend slightly, then you start to build the city defined by the land around it. We'll see how it goes. It could work out really well, it could not. But you can start to see how the edges are going to come along too. But I'll let the river, settle itself right now. Because that is a bit crazy. Now, something that we do also have to plan for as well is where are we running the rest of this water here? Am I going to replace this canal here to like what I did there and here? Oh yeah, I'd smoothen some of the land underneath, didn't I? Yeah. Because I can run the cargo ships down here too. We've got enough space to widen it. And I can run up to here. Maybe even replace this with that kind as well. So we can run cargo ships all there. Where's this going to kind of end to as well? I don't truly know yet. I don't truly know where we're going to kind of run and end those kind of stuff, those situations. But because of the demands I've got right now, do we need the super demand mod? Is that time to bring it into a question? Or is the super demand mod something I use towards the end of the series to really kind of then finalize and fine tune everything else? Baby boys. Can't believe what I've done. I slightly smoothened some of the edge, which has caused that to overfill. Messing around with the river right now has caused this. I could reset the sea level, but I don't think there's any need to at the minute. Just get on with it, mate. We just got to get on with it. I do want to get rid of this. So what I'm going to do is kill off that, and then kill off the canals that enter into it. Now, I know these are not connected. Is there a water source in here? There is. Kill off that water source. Because I want to slowly start draining this bit, get rid of it, but keep this in and reconnect it. I'm so sorry, guys, with the flooding. Please, please, please forgive me right now. Please forgive me. I am so sorry. Not. Unique buildings. Now, I know we keep playing around with these, but I can't remember what I got in, what I didn't get in. Is there any tall buildings I can squeeze in that I haven't got in quite some time? I mean, all the casino stuff from, like, you know, dead end I could potentially get in, but... The Science Center. I did have that little section over here, didn't I? It's a shame. The stadium. I think we just save it for like nice designed little areas, because I don't want to freely place them down, just put them in areas. It doesn't really make much sense. But yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad, boys. Oh my goodness me, we got a little bit of an issue right now, don't we? Can we set up junctions on these? No, you can't set up a junction to make these guys give way. Are they all running into one particular place? Active flights. Almost, yeah. Are you also going to this one? Oh no, you're going to that one. Okay, maybe I just caught it at the wrong time. Movement is now about to happen. But also, where does this all run to? I'm just wondering if I made that go that way as well. Could they? No, they couldn't run down because of how it all works. But would it be weird if I anarchied it to make them... I mean, does this does it happen in... If I anarchied this to go straight across the runway... Alright, that should be flipped that way. And then if I... I mean, I'm sure it happens in real life, right? Where some planes can cut across a hole in the middle of a whole runway to get to another runway. My problem is here, though, is these guys are all queuing up to get into a certain area. And that doesn't fly very well for me. I mean, I've kind of jigged it about just now, and it's kind of a little bit awkward. But that's trying to get into there. I wonder why they're all trying to use the same stand. I still don't quite understand that. That plane's using this system here. I want to know what happens when they get to here. Will they stop because that plane's right there? Or is that enough for the plane to go past? There we go. Let me know what you think about this here. Is that a good idea or not? But the problem is they get caught up with this guy. So I'm not sure what he's doing. We'll get rid of him. Where are you going? You're going to there as well. Where are you going? You are going to here. Alright. So at least we've got some movement on the go, even, you know, nonetheless. But it's always this stand. Don't know why, mate. Don't know why. I could turn it off and make him go somewhere else, but that's a different story, isn't it? Train is completely bypassing the station. Very good, very good. No demands. That's even more hilarious. Ooh, a little bit of a backlog. Now, do you reckon this is down to the fact that that is, for most of them, the most obvious train station to get to? What if I brought a train line off this and came in a little bit? Oh, that would be a good idea. Right, let me see what I can do here. So, if I placed it in between these two here, and let's say I brought this down by, yeah, let's just bring it down by 50. Bring this down by 50 as well. If I was to drop a cargo train station in, obviously I'll make it go sideways, but maybe I could drop 2 in. And maybe do it either side. So if I went by, so what's that going across? That's 30. So if I did a 15, let's go to there for a second. Would this work out in any way, shape or form? I'm just wondering if I can mess around with this. Because what I'm thinking of is doing like one maybe here. And one there. Train line can then bend round and kind of funnel back out. And there as well. Trying to get to funnel into the same line. So we got 2 stations, but the road can both elevate. One goes into one direction. The other one comes from another direction. To try and utilize the flow of the vehicles. So how I'm thinking of it is, this one here could come from, say for example, killed off you and you. So both of the roads funnel over and it bends into that one. This one funnels over and bends into that one. So it's predominantly for people over here, and obviously people over here for this one, people over here for this one. I don't know how well that would work out. Let me play around with this. So if I go to 10 by 12 on both sides. If you don't try, you just don't know, do you? If you don't try, you don't know. If I go by 25. 25. And then how far is that bend off? A 15 by 15 almost. Alright, if I go by a 7 there, then we're looking at a 8 by 8. Smack bang in. 7. Wait, what was that? That's an 8. How does that work then? So that's a 14 away. Oh, I think I might have done the other road a little bit too long. And it's kind of threw my spacings off. But we've got it working in the end, nonetheless. So forget the fact that they're not elevating perfectly just yet. But it creates this complete bypass, keeping this road completely free as well. Which could be very, very handy. Now, if I brought this down by 20... Now, I know that's a 15 away. So this is going to be awkward. 5 by 5. By 5. By 5. Does this play well? Or not? I can one-way system it as well, which would be kind of handy. I don't think this plays ball very well. And also, then again, I also have to do the train line as well. So that's like another pain in the booty. Right. Also, is that falling away or is it just me? 15. 13. Yeah. That's really weird. But that's going to come out to 30 there. That's going to come out to 30 there. Which is in the middle. It's one or the other, isn't it? It's one or the other. I'm going to bring it to there. So this one we bring on this side. So we've got to connect these up. Now, it is a 15 away. So if I did a 7... Oh, hang on, a bit more. 4 there. 7 by 7. 8... Oh, it's difficult, man. It's so difficult. 6 by 6. It ain't perfect. It's not perfect at all. So we do the 6 by 6 here instead. Yikes. That's an 8. 7 by 7. So I've kind of flipped it round to try and mimic it. So the 6 by 6 is on this side and the 7 by 7 is on the outer side. I do have to kind of bring these together somehow. And I'm not entirely sure what the best method would be for me to do it. So, like I said, I've got to bring them all together. So I could technically have, let's say I did a straight run like that. I've got to bring these two into one, which I can elevate those roads, and it's perfectly fine. So I bring them into one. Am I just making it really, really difficult for myself? I feel like I potentially could be. So delete you to there. If I ran this up by 5 just there. What is it like to do a connection on this? What's going on, boys? What are we saying for this? Is this ridiculous? If I did it like that. Because then that will allow me to go ahead and create what I need to pull them together. That's a different spacing, isn't it? That's a 3. Is that a 3? Yeah. So, is that about right? So I bring them together there, which I can merge them in one. I haven't got to connect to this. I can connect to this one. So if I brought this down by a 10, and that was an 8, brought this down by a 10, that was an 8. I've now got a singular line. I've now got a singular line, which I could do 2 V's, but the V's would be too close. So I can maybe merge it. Okay, I got an idea. Can I pick up that node? Is that 10 away? I think so. So if I then do a 10 by 10 bend there, keep running this down. So if I just run this with us as well. Bam. Bam. Oh, why have I done it like that? 8 by 8. running that down. Perfect. I feel like I should go this way. No, that will work. So this by another 20. By a 6. So it all merges in like that. Then all I've got to do is bring this down. Connect it into a V here. And then they can go pretty much both ways. But what I'm noticing is this is kind of slightly falling away from us. This is all parallel, but this is not. And I don't quite know what's happened with that. To a point why it's not parallel. I think this is all based on how parallel the airport was, but I don't think the airport's that parallel, to be honest with you. So if I scrap this, delete this train line, just to there, because I can make this run parallel. Well, if I go from there, do I do it? Yeah, we'll just do it to there. So I know that that is perfectly parallel, and if I get to here, we'll eventually create something quite nice for this or whatever. I'm trying to run this nice, beautiful industrial area, is what I'm trying to do. So then I've got I might do a little swoosh going around. So from this point there, 21's like that. And where's the node? Should we take it off this node here? 21. So I can't quite do a 21 just yet. And yeah, we're connecting both sides just there. So I just want to go a little bit OTT with the train line. That's literally all I want to do. So a 10 by 10, a 10 by 10. Bringing this in. And we'll get this connected straight to this. But I'll come back to that in just a second. So we want to delete this. And I'll delete that little chunk just there. I'm going to probably sink this down. So if I end up doing a 10 by 10 by 10 by 10 by 9 by 9. That works perfectly fine. So we'll have that going across. And then we'll select this node and this node. Sink this right down to there. This train line here, we are going to have elevated like that. That's sunken down. It's a little bit OTT, isn't it? But I love it. I love it right now. There we go. Oh, that's too big on the brushes there. Smoothing wise, we'll smooth it all out, boys. We'll smooth it all out. Then with the trains, the elevations. I probably could have kept that one as it is. Nope, maybe not. I'll keep it like that just for the sake of it. There we go, there we go, there we go. I'll probably end up sanding all that off. For now, I'm just going to literally connect it like this to there. I don't really care too much about that there. But I just want to create like a nice little line. Just do something a bit different. Way over, like too OTT, completely way over the top. Just so we can kind of funnel this in. Now, yes, they can only get into this section for now, but these roads, I might actually sync all the railway lines on this side. So that I can create like a grid network of roads at normal level. Going all over so we can literally create the industrial area around. Which I think will be quite exciting. It's implemented this and gives the ability to then have these two here, which the roads coming out will serve this area down here. So as we expand the industrial area more over here, We've got more dedicated routes to kind of get connected to where we want to get connected. Now, it's not ideal. I understand this right now. It's not ideal, nor does it have a current purpose. But we're not finished with it just yet, so it's not going to have a purpose. So we'll sync these train lines next episode. We'll create the grid network going up and over, build the industrial areas around, and then these will be so efficient for either side, and then start taking away some of the heat from this one, thus causing the train log that we do have being backed up. Now, I'm well aware that also they might be going there because it's the shortest route, but to get over to here, you know, they've got to go around. I mean, look at the backload it's creating for all my trains right now. This is not good. This is why we need these alternative routes. And we've got to figure something out to maybe bypass all of this without getting caught up too much in general. But this is the start. This is the start of trying to sort out that little bit of a train drama that we're going to have. I'll fix all these lines and all that kind of jazz. But that's also another reason why we need to extend the shipping lane. Because can't rely on just cargo trains within the middle of this area. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. We can only just sit back, relax, and watch. We got the odd vehicle or two right now already heading in. So you gotta remember, every vehicle that uses this now is one less one over here. But I need to pull more of them over, so I've got to make this a more efficient area to kind of work with. Guys, lots of stuff's happening right now. Lots of people are going to be moving in right now. If you are enjoying this series, please smash that like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So,